Hello, my name is Dale and this is Nicole, and we want to share with you some of our experience of integrative breathwork. We'll start with some of the benefits. We're working holistically, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. On a physical level, most people understand that if you improve your breathing, you're probably going to improve your health. I mean, you can't go about a few minutes without breathing or you're not going to be around. So what a lot of people don't understand is that we get 80% of our energy from breathing. And also a lot of people will go on these different detox programs, whether it's changing their diet or doing oil pulling or fasting, all sorts of different things to detox, and yet you can't do anything at a physical level that's more profound than improving your breathing, because 75% of detoxification happens every time we're exhaling our breath. Um, Also, there's over 60 anaerobic diseases caused by lack of oxygen, cancer being one of them. And so cancer cells can't survive in a fully oxygenated environment. So there's a lot you can do by improving your breathing that will improve your health. It's really one of the most powerful things you can do on a physical level. Most people come to us, it seems like, as a result, mostly for the emotional aspect. Emotionally, when you're in a lot of pain, we will as human beings, we're going to go away, we're going to do whatever we can to get away from pain and move towards pleasure. And so a lot of times people are in enough pain that they will arrive in our circles or in individual sessions with us looking for relief. Well, what happens on an emotional level is that when you start doing this breathing technique, something that's called entrainment happens. In other words, what entrainment is it's whenever you bring in one energy and it entrains to another. And what you're doing with breathing is you're bringing in so much oxygen, so much of a high vibration, and it isn't just oxygen, it's prana, it's chi, it's life force, it's light, it's all these different names for basically bringing in a really high vibration of frequency. So we're working with a vibrational frequency, in other words, vibrational medicine. And so when you raise your frequency and you're allowing and inviting any repressions or suppressions to come to the surface and be integrated, and which takes you into greatness, I like to say. In other words, what you're doing is um, you're getting better at feeling, and if you want to feel better, you need to get better at feeling. And so, as these emotions that will be hidden away in our shadows if we don't bring them into the light. And so that's what's happening on a very powerful level when you use integrative breathwork, is you invite these energetic blockages to come to the surface and embrace them with the breath, and through that a transformation happens. On a mental level, similarly, you're doing this breathing, bringing in this higher frequency of energy, oxygenating yourself, or filling yourself with light, you could say. And we notice that people will have experiences of clarity, and their thoughts basically slow down, and then there's space in between the thoughts for the other level that we're describing, the spiritual aspect, where a lot of people will come to us and maybe want to learn to meditate, and our first invitation will always be, well, let's help you to breathe and integrate some of these emotional traumas or the mental chatter in order that you can come to a place of stillness and presence organically and naturally. Rather than using your willpower to sit on a cushion, you start to come to a place of just naturally arriving there in these places of deep stillness and silence and quiet, so you actually enjoy the experience. Whereas a lot of times people have a lot of resistance to meditating because how difficult it is. So it's enough about, that's kind of a brief overview of some of the benefits you can expect from this breath work. And now I'd like to ask Nicole if she would share her personal journey of integrative breathwork and why she's so excited about breathwork.
Well, I got so excited from my very first experience of integrative breathwork that I knew without a doubt that after my first session that this is what I was meant to share with people and facilitate. And so, not really knowing exactly what I was getting into initially after that first breath session, I just opened to that flow, which is often something that can happen for people. Is your life can change drastically because as you breathe, you just become so in alignment instantly. I find for myself with your higher self and with presence and with your emotions and what's here. And there's so many breath sessions that I will never forget. And the first one that I ever had, though, was super powerful for me because I was coming into the breath session feeling as though I wanted to love myself, and that was my intention, to love myself as I am. And I remember at one point during the breath session that I experienced a lot of what we call as tetany, so just kind of your hands cramping or some cramping throughout your body, and due to it just being so much new energy that hadn't flown for such a long time. And so in the moment it felt really good, and then it also felt like so much was being released, and it also felt like I don't know what's happening. But in that moment, I actually had this powerful moment where I realized that if I left this yoga studio that I was doing the breath session in with hands like this, and this is how I looked for the rest of my life, I would still love myself. And it just brought me to tears because it was so powerful to realize that I would love myself no matter what. And then what happened for me as I continued to breathe and continued to be consistent in this work is I came to the realization that I actually have always loved myself, and I just lost sight of that for a while. And so for me, it's breathing in this way. It just allows me to access my emotions fully. It allows me to connect with my divine self. It allows me clarity in my life, and also just the ability to accept the array of all of the emotions that we can feel, and in a space of without judgment. And so practicing in group sessions, and also getting the privilege of doing many individual sessions with Dale, and then also practicing on my own, have all been very different experiences and very amazing experiences to have in my life. And so I'm just super excited to continue to have this opportunity with Dale to share what has changed our lives so much, and what I'm just super passionate about. And so I'm just excited to continue to share that with people that are already on this journey, and also to introduce it to new people. That's a super exciting thing for us when we have sometimes a full group of people that have never tried this breathing before, and it's so amazing. And one last thing I'll share is I remember at the end of my breath session that first time saying that, why didn't anybody tell me that all I need to do is breathe? Like, this is all I need to do. I couldn't believe it. It wasn't like I needed to go take a 500-hour course. I didn't need to go pay tons of money for some crazy machine, or just all these things. All I needed to do was breathe. It just blew my mind. So I'm just excited that it's available to me anytime that I need to access it, and it's also available to every single person on the planet. If you're alive, you're breathing, and there's an opportunity to experience this. So that's some of my excitement about the breath. How about you share with us some of what your personal experience has been like?
Well, I'm not going to go into a lot of detail. I don't want the video to go too long, but just basically for me, coming from a background of a lot of depression in my life and anxiety and not feeling very good about myself, I was motivated by my pain to seek therapy and counseling, and I was actually in individual therapy and group therapy for over 10 years, and literally I spent hundreds of thousands of dollars on my personal development. I was also what you consider like the work shop junkie. Any weekend that I could go, and I was just really on a journey. And eventually, I fortunately came across breathwork, and I had a few experiences with breathwork. And every time I did, I was like, "Oh my God, this is so powerful to get me into my heart and open me up to experiences of my true self." And after a few experiences, finally I got the message that this is really what I needed to be doing. And I went full out for all of the training and mostly for my own development to begin with. But since then, it's been just a really excited desire to want to share this with other people. And sometimes I say that I felt a responsibility, and I do feel a responsibility to share this with other people because how much it's affected and changed my own life. But mostly it's because it's just such a joy to witness how much people can shift in just one breath session. In the woman who I learned with, she wrote a book, and in her book there was a therapist who commented that in his experience of breath work, that one breath session could be the equivalent to 2 years of therapy. And I'm not saying that that's the case for everyone, obviously, but I certainly felt it very much accelerated my own journey. And as much as the therapy that I did was beneficial, I wouldn't direct people in that way. I'd much more invite them to utilize a less cognitive approach, which this is. This is a very embodied, experiential approach that, without people having to think too much, it integrates their past without having to go into understanding or analysis per se. So that's what I'd just like to say, and I'd love to have the opportunity to work with you, or whether it's in a group or individually or via Skype. Please don't hesitate to contact us with any questions by email or send us a message on Skype. We'd love to hear from you. Hope you're having a beautiful day. And namaste and namaste. Thank you so much.
Namaste.